this morning. The Albertina built for Willows car, the ex-South African 2.1 hot rod champion, should I say, is Hendrikus Quarter. What a good with the 24 car. He had a bit of a rain on the other side last night as well. Managed to get that car sorted out overnight. And then in addition to the cars that are here,
London. Good evening and welcome to SAOL South African Oval Racing as we get ready for the proceedings this evening here at the legendary Ipswich track. It's going to be an awesome evening filled with jam-packed racing and I can't wait to get started. The drivers, of course, making their first rounds, just making sure everything is up and ready to go as the race gets started off. It's going to be a very exciting evening as we move in to the Nationals Round 2. Our drivers this evening, coming in at 331, is Dennis Klutzer. He's driving the pink National Hot Rod Magic Racing. As you see right now as he joins the track, he'll be looking to make a big statement this evening. And of course at number 2, and driving in 146, Andrew Stadler. After last week's performance, he definitely has a point to make, just to make sure he gets into the top pole positions. Danny van Rooyen joins us this evening. He'll definitely be rearing to go, not competing last week of course, but definitely here this week trying to make a big performance count, and he'll be looking to end close to the top 3 this evening. Moving on to number 4 will be Steve. He did very well last week. He had a few ups and downs, but in the end he managed to get a good time on the track, and he'll definitely look to improve that lap time. Martin Meintjes definitely will be one of the star racers this evening. Remember last week he had an unfortunate mishap there in the last round, in the final round, where he was in a good position. I think he was starting second, and he ended up being in the 5th place. Very unlucky, a little bit of a bump, and that ended up costing him very costly, and he didn't finish in the top 3 positions. Then moving to number 111, that will be Konrad Janssen van Rensburg. He'll definitely want to have a good performance this evening, as we just see him hit the barricade there. And luckily this is a practice round, so nothing to be worried about. Those tires just not feeding right at the moment. So of course later in the first heat of the competition, he'll definitely want to improve and make a huge statement. Going on to number 8, number 27, Layden. He also knows what's on the line there this evening. He also has to put in some good leaps and get in some valuable race time on the track. At number 9, 119, that will be Rudy Graham. Good race last week. He did the unthinkable as he managed to get a good pole position, and I think he was involved in that little mishap, and that also cost Martin the pole position. Martin was in second position the whole race, so of course he'll definitely want to be on the lookout for Rudy Graham as the race continues later on. Anthony Maritz, 01 Shock and Service, that will be his racing ID this evening. He knows this race is also going to be one big race for him. He needs to make a statement. He needs to show he's here and make some good strides in this evening. Number 11 and number 8, Toby Engelbrecht, of course, high flyer. He knows he also has to do some wonderful, magnificent performances to stay in the competitiveness this evening. And then joining us at number 12, number 75, Vivid IT sponsored, that will be Hernus Basson. He's joining us for this race this evening. It's going to be a very exciting, jam-packed, full of experience race with the drivers knowing each other very well. They know the track and they know what is at stake. With about 3 minutes 40 seconds to go for this practice round, they know they have to look at a few things this evening when it comes to the short turns and long stretches, because the Ipswich track is notoriously very, very unpredictable when it comes to those little overtakes. So of course every driver knows that this evening, and they'll be trying to lessen the impact at the apex and trying to keep in the middle of the track. Beautiful day here at the Ipswich track. You're welcome to send a group chat in the live stream, and always nice to hear from you as everything gets off to the sliding, flying finish that we're looking for this evening. Of course, we know that the drivers have a lot of work to do in preparation for this race, as they may have to make sure that every single thing, every technicality, every calibration, every fine-tuning happens out there on the track, and they just need to implement and incorporate it. If you're just joining us this evening, welcome. My name is Charles Venga. I'll be your host this evening as we watch the SAOL, the South African Oval Live Racing. It is the SA Nationals Round 2, and every racer knows this, that every round counts, every lap counts, every lap time counts, and they need to finish in that good positions of between 1 and 5th to be in the main contendership. Less than 2 minutes to go for the first practice round, and then the drivers will get up and ready for the first heat of the competition. Big thanks to our sponsors this evening. LM Diversity Spares, one of our big sponsors. They will definitely have a big presence. Vivid IT, of course, another big sponsor. And that will be the number 75 from Hernus, Basson. He'll be representing Vivid IT this evening. If we take a look at the track, I'm pretty sure every driver has a few hiccups when it comes to that overtakes. But I know that every single one of them knows what's on the line this evening, and they have experience on this track. It's a very unpredictable track, but it can give some great results. Less than 1 minute to go, and the first practice round will be something of the past. The drivers are almost ready to get the first heat of the competition started. As we take a look at Dani van Rooyen this evening, he's driving the number 1 car, Red Bull, of course, sponsored, and he knows that, according to last week's race, he knows what the pole positions are, he knows exactly where he stands, and he'll definitely want to get some good leads up front to give him an overall good position. Of course, he won one of the races in the first, just before the Nationals, and he's looking good. Pretty sure Dani will also put in a good performance this evening. As the practice round comes to a close, we'll be right back after these messages.
this morning. The Albertina built Wilder's car on the ex-South African 2.1 hot rod champion, should I say, is Hendrikus Porter. What a good with the 24 car. He had a bit of a pain on the driver's side last night as well. Managed to get that car sorted out overnight. And then in addition to the cars that are here,
London.
Welcome back to the SAOL South African Oval Racing as we take a look at the first qualifiers for this evening. Maximum effort, Dennis Knutzer out there on the track. He's just trying to get a good lap time in for this race this evening. So this is going to be a good race, trying to get a good lap time at the moment. 12.4 seconds is the time he's looking to beat. And just to be more better prepared, I'd say. Of course, Dennis Knutzer did well in the previous round, the Nationals, the first round, and he will definitely look to improve and stay in the running as far as this competition is concerned. Thank you for joining us. This is the Ipswich track, a very popular track as it has a few hurdles as it comes to the short bends around the corner, just the apex being very, very hard on. So it's going to be a very difficult and, of course, a highly competitive race. So every little thing counts out there. So every driver is well aware to stay clear and drive in a very orderly fashion. Of course, little touches here and there could be a big factor, as was last week evident when Meintjes was so close. He dropped out from the second position and ended up being in the fifth position in that race. So every driver knows what's on the line this evening as we take a look at Dennis Knutzer just going through those last turns and making the best of this qualifying time. Big thanks to our sponsors this evening, Allen Diversity Spares. Big thanks to them, Vivid IT, and the amazing Dog Hotel, not to mention Aquaman, and the rest of our sponsors. So you will have a good race on your hands, and I can't wait to get into it and get ready for this big one. 10 Knutzer with about less than 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go on the clock. Just needs to get a good grip on proceedings this evening. I think, of course, when we come to the first round of the competition, the first heat, that's when we'll know what is going to go for the rest of this evening. I think a few changes might be coming as the rest of the drivers make a few last-minute fine-tuning and calibrations to their vehicles. Maybe a few last-minute tire changes. That I would be well assured from just taking a look at this track. I think it's going to be a very, very important decision when it comes to those last-minute details. Minutes 40 seconds, that's what the clock says, and we know every little change will be a huge outcome and huge risk when it comes to the last minute drivers. And of course, when you take a look at the previous race, we know that every slight mishap can have a big after effect, and we know that of course the drivers are ready and ready to go, and they will definitely have to say their say on this track this evening. Be patient and take the risks when you are required to. as we near the 1 minute mark of this last qualifying round. Dennis Knut is still out there trying the maximum effort. He knows the last minute is the crucial minute, and every little thing now is what it comes down to. So with less than a minute to go, we'll definitely keep you up and posted and live with every single change that comes in this evening's proceedings. This is going to be an awesome race, and I really can't wait to start broadcasting. So that will bring us to the end of the qualifiers. Dennis Knut with a lap time there, a good lap time, 12.37, and that will be very amazing to think back at the little bit of a difference he made into getting things off and ready to go. So of course, Dennis Knut finishing with a lap time of 12.37 as we get ready for the first heat of the competition right here on the SAOL, the South African Oval Racing. So that's the end of the qualifiers. Join me as we get back to the things ready to go right after the word from our sponsors. We'll be ready to go from our end, so don't go anywhere. You'll definitely have to prepare. It's going to be an awesome race.
this morning. The Albertini Wilder's car, the ex-South African 2.1 hot rod champion, should I say, is Hendrikus Porter. For a curve in the 24 car, he had a bit of a pain on the other side last night as well. Managed to get that car sorted out overnight, and then in addition to the cars that are here.
London.
Welcome back to the SAOL South African Oval Racing. I'm your host, Charlemagne, as we get ready for the first heat of the competition. This is going to be a very good race. I can feel it. The drivers can feel it. They are ready to go. And of course, 20 laps, that's what it comes down to. And they know every shortcoming will not be enough to get them in the race. So every driver will be ready to go. As we start off with the drivers in their formations, starting in the front, Hernus Stadler, they would take it number 2, Dennis Knutse, Dani van Rooyen, that will be Martin Meintjes, Steve, Tim Close from Germany, Konrad van Janssen van Rensburg, Leon, Anthony Maritz, Rudy Graham, Hannes Basson, Toby Engelbrecht, and Rupert Maritz there at the back. So the drivers are ready to go, getting ready for everything. A jam-packed race. This is going to be a good one. Of course, the first few laps are going to be crucial, and the drivers need to be very careful not to make hastily mistakes in the front, and that will make a gap for the rest of the team to get through the middle of this race. Of course, starting strong will be Hernus Stadler, Dennis Knutse, and Dani van Rooyen. Martin Meintjes definitely has a point to prove this evening, as it comes close and down to it at the end of all things. So the first lap almost about ready to start. The clocks are almost in sync, and then the race will get ready to go. The lights off on the screen. They are going to light up any moment now. And first light, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. The lights are all red. Drivers ready to go. Engines are revving, and they are off. Starting in the first leap of the competition, it gets close in the front. Some good driving there, as Understander still manages to keep the lead. Dennis Knutse is still in second place. Dani van Rooyen getting hit there in the back, shooting past. Oh no, he's gone off the track into the middle, and that will be a big unfortunate mistake there right at the beginning, as he has to join the track again. But to get the front, Hernus Stadler manages to keep in the first position. Dennis Knutse now in second, and Tim Close, our German international, looking good in third position. Unfortunately for Dani van Rooyen, as he is out of the race. Martin Meintjes doing good in the fourth position. He did well with coming in and staying on the racetrack. Of course, Anthony Maritz will definitely be on him this evening, so we'll have to take a look at that battle at the latest stage. And of course, here at the back we see Rudy Graham and Rupert Maritz. They also have a little knock there. They will definitely also be the battle at the back of the scrum. So if we take a look at the last few drivers, nothing short of spectacular from Toby Engelbrecht. He knows he'll have to keep a good distance and try to take over where he can, and that will also another hit, a collision there. Toby Engelbrecht gets off to a bad start. He's also facing the wrong direction, and Konrad van Rensburg also out of the race with Dani van Rooyen. Unfortunate for them, but we have a battle on our hands as Dennis Knutse manages to fall into the third position. Tim Close doing well to go, shooting past him into second, and the drivers are all bundled up here from the back and the front, so a few drivers now having to take explicit maneuvering to keep in the race. The battle here at the back still between Rupert Maritz and Rudy Graham. They know they have to do well to keep a good pole position, but if we shoot past to the front runner, Hernus Stadler is still in first position, doing well, cool and calm, as he just misses Hannes Basson there at the turn. Tim Close second second position, and then Dennis Klutzer still holding on to that third position as we go past the 10th lap. Still at the big of a hit there. Unfortunately, big collision there. We see another big collision as Hernus Basson this time. He is involved, but luckily managing to get out of it. A few mishaps this evening, few drivers being hit. Not a good start for most of them, but Hernus Stadler doing well. First position still, Dennis Klutzer in second, and Tim Close losing pole position to go into third place. The battle's definitely on. The drivers are well aware of every little mistake they've made this evening in this first heat of the competition. They can only go better from here. Taking a look at Hernus Basson and the number 75 Vivid IT. He did well earlier just to keep well away of that first little mistake, and he's still continuing well in the race. So between Rudy Graham here this evening, he and Ruben Maritz have a little battle on their hands, and they know they also have to be in the competition to get things off and going. Hernus Stadler doing well, just short on Toby Engelbrecht, but still in the race, and of course he's still in first position with a good lap time there. And Dennis Klutzer and Tim Close, those two drivers have a little bit of animosity towards each other when it comes to the later stages of this race, of all races, as they continuously shoot past each other in those positions. Then at the back we can see Leyland and Ruby Maritz. They also have a little spat over there between 10th and 11th, and they have to shoot past each other. Oof, a little close contention there. Ow! He's being also spit out. Back in front, Tim Close in third position. He's also continuing on the 18th lap this evening. 2 laps to go before the first heat is over. Taking a look at lap number 19, every driver just needs to finish now. It's all about finishing strong, and that's what Hernus Stadler is doing, still keeping a good lead in the first position as he goes into the last lap of this race. Dennis Klutzer still doing good in second, and Tim Close, he's looking to end in the third position. And so that will do it for the race. They know what they have to do, and of course a few changes in those small technicalities will be of crucialness. So join us back right after these messages from our sponsors as we get ready for the second round. back to the SAOL, South African Oval League Racing. I'm your host, Charlotte Wenger, as we finish this practice round for the second heat of the competition. If you're just joining us, we just finished the first heat of the competition. It went everywhere in that race, and the drivers, of course, they know what to do now, just to get everything up and ready to go and not to make so many mistakes. That will be the key this evening. Practice time, of course, now coming to an end as we get ready for the second round, the second heat of the competition. We're live here from the Ipswich track, and the race is going to be a heated one. Nothing short of spectacular as the second heat of the competition gets ready to go. Hernus, of course, doing well in that first heat. He kept a cool and calm demeanor throughout the race, finishing in first. And then, of course, the battle between Dennis Knutse and Tim Close. That will also be something to keep an eye on this evening. The drivers are on the track, and they are almost ready to go, and they know, of course, this is the or the reverse rather, so a little bit of a heads up as we get things up and ready to go. As we get ready for this second heat, drivers now just coming onto the track. This will also be crucial, as now we will see if they've learned anything from that first lap, and of course the first heat rather, and everything now comes down to this: will they have a good time? Will it be clean? And who's going to finish in those top three positions? Just going to the drivers real quick. Still starting now at the front now. Corner Janssen van Rensburg, unfortunate not to finish the first heat. Toby Engelbrecht now, they're in the second position. Leyland third. We'll take a look at Rudy Graham in fourth. Steve still in fifth. Hernus Basson rocking the sixth position. Anthony Moritz in seventh. Tim Close now at the back at number 8, Martin Meintjes 9th, Hernus 10th, and Dennis Knutse starting at the back in the 11th position. The drivers, they will have to be exceptionally well aware of that first lap and not make any unnecessary mistakes. As the lights are now trying to get in sync with the rest of the drivers, they are almost ready to start the second heat of round 2 of the SA Nationals. It's all systems go as the lights are on the screen. They are almost about to light up as the second heat comes to a fanatical start. Lights are on, drivers are ready, and the second lap now going to go off as we get ready for the SAOL Oval League Racing. Looking good in the first position there is Konrad Janssen van Rensburg, and they're at the back, still going strong there. Of course, we'll have to keep an eye out at the back of the race, and that's where it's going to be flaming, as we see already a few backdrops between Toby Engelbrecht and Rudy Graham. Of course, Hernus and Dennis Knutse between Martin Meintjes at the back there. They know they'll have to keep well disciplined as they move on to the rest of the race. The battle between Hernus and Dennis Knutse still going strong here in the 5th and 6th position. They will have to keep their wits about them as they get ready for the 5th lap. Martin Meintjes, Tim Close still doing their battles. Toby Engelbrecht now shooting in the 9th position, and Anthony Moritz and Hernus Basson doing battle at the back between 10th and 11th. Going into the front, we see Steve just over there overtaking one of the racers. He's in the 2nd position still, doing well so far. You'll have to also keep in mind that everything is on the board this evening, and taking a look at the back, the battle still going good here between Tim Close now going into the 7th position. Trying in the back there, as Dennis Knutse is still going strong in front of him. Martin Meintjes has managed to go into the 4th position as the drivers are ready and going, and almost going strong as they inch closer to those top 3 positions. Now at the front there, Hernus manages to do a ripper, goes into second, and Steve still holding on to that 3rd position, doing well in fact, as Meintjes is close on his heels, and even closer, Dennis Kluter, as he comes in, just almost taking him over, and this is going to be a very, very contested battle this evening. But going back to the front, Gordon Jansen van Rensburg still doing well, maintaining his lead this evening, but that's not far off from Hernus doing a miracle over there, taking him past, and that's going to shoot him into the 1st position again in the 1st position, as the 10th lap is now almost something of the past, and he's doing well, and he'll feel good about that one. And of course now Gordon Jansen van Rensburg in the 2nd place, and the battle between the back is also something to look at, as Toby Engelbach and Anthony Maritz, they have something to prove at the back of the pack. Meintjes now in 4th position, still going over into the apex there, but still in the race as he shoots past Dennis Kluter, and that will take him to 3rd position. Closely behind him is Meintjes, and that will also be a very hot topic as this race continues. Here the back between the 7th, 8th and 9th also going strong between these 3 drivers, Anthony Maritz, Toby Engelbach and Rudy Graham. They need to maintain that discipline as the race continues. We are in the 14th lap, going close to the 15th, and still the action is here in the front, as Hernus magnificent and the 1st place, and Gordon Jansen van Rensburg in the 2nd, and Meintjes doing good in 3rd. Tim Close manages to get into his 5th position. He'll be trying to contest Dennis Kluter this evening, and he wants to get into that 4th and 3rd positions as well. 16th lap is in the books. We are going to have a very close contest, as Meintjes now in the 2nd position. We have a little bit of a hip up there in the back, as we can see Rudy Graham almost having a collision there, but he still keeps good, as Lylan and Gordon Jansen van Rensburg now on the sideline. Steve is out of the race, and this is going to be problematic for him as well, as the battle between Anthony Maritz and Rudy Graham now changing pole positions, but still taking a look here in the front. Dennis Kluter on the back of Meintjes, trying to go for that 2nd position. Tim Close now in 4th. He'll also have to get a little bit of a closer call there as they shoot past the 19th lap into the last lap. This is where it's at. Now if you want to take a chance, take a chance. This is going to make or break you for the last and penultimate lap and last race. And it will be Hernus doing well, finishing with a lap time of 4 minutes 16 seconds. And then Meintjes close behind him with 4 minutes 20. Dennis Kluter 4 minutes and 21 seconds. That's going to bring an end to the 2nd heat of the competition. Join us soon as we get ready for the final round of round 2 of the SA Nationals.
morning. The Albertina Milk car, the ex-South African 2.1 hot rod champion, should I say, is Hendrikus Porter. For a curve in the 24 car, he had a bit of a pain on the other side last night as well. Managed to get that car sorted out overnight, and then in addition to the cars that are here.
London.
Welcome back to the SAOL. SAOL, that is, of course, the South African Oval Racing. As the final lap or the final round of this evening's proceedings are ready to get started. Drivers are in their positions and they know this is make or break as they get ready for the last race. Taking a look at our drivers this evening, Hernus doing well, finishing in the first position in both the first and second heats. Hernus now in second, Martin Meintjes third, and Tim Close, the German international, in the fourth position. Look at the back, we see Arno, Anthony Maritz, Lylan, Hernus Basson, and of course Rudy Graham in 8th, Dub Engelbrecht in 9th, and Steve makes the top 10. Drivers have a lot of things on their minds, of course, then they'll have to make sense of it as this final round, the big one, the quality of this race, of course, and this is going to be it. This is going to be the big one, and I can't wait to get started. As the clock sinks, we see 35 laps is the amount of laps in the last round, and the drivers are well aware that they have to endure in this race. The clock's trying to sync now and the light systems are almost online, and that will mean the race will get off to a start. Huge thanks to our sponsors again this evening: LM Diversity Spares, Vivid IT, Aquaman, the Amazing Dog Hotel, and so much more. The lights are on the screen, they are almost about to light up, and the final race will begin in 4, 3, 2, 1. Lights are red, drivers are ready, and the third round begins. The first drivers quickly onto the lap as Tim Close nudges a little bit there, trying to rattle and unsettle Martin Meintjes, still doing good in the second position. A little bit of competition here between Dennis Klutzer and of course Tim Close. The drivers are very neck and neck in this one, and of course the first lap and the second lap is crucial to get a good start. If we take a look at the front, Arne Stadler well away in the first position, Martin Meintjes second, Dennis Klutzer third as he goes through that lap, and Tim Close keeping cool and calm in the fourth position. Rudy Graham is in the fifth position, and Steve in sixth, Toby Engelbrecht seventh, and Basson slotting into the number 8th position, and Lylan and Maritz at the back of the pack between 9th and 10. A lot of action right here in this last round. Every driver knows no mistakes whatsoever. They need to keep it clean and finish strong. As Arne Stadler shoots past in the first position, still doing good and looking good. He's cool and calm throughout this series of races. Martin Meintjes in second, right behind him. As we take a look at the back of the pack, we can also see a little bit of a battle going on there, as Hernus Basson is now in the 9th position. Steve shooting past into 5th, Rudy Graham dropping into the 6th place, but still on his heels as we go into the 7th lap. Arne Stadler is still in 1st, Martin Meintjes doing good in 2nd, and Dennis Klutzer still in 3rd position, but he will be looking to get into that top 2. Tim Close doing well, still going strong in the 4th position. Right at the back, still in good spirits, will be Toby Engelbrecht. He knows that just keeping a good track record is important. No unnecessary mistakes, as Hernus Basson manages to get back into the 8th position, and Anthony Merritt slotting into number 9th. Toby Engelbrecht now at the back of the pack at number 10. The 10th lap is almost at an end, as we see a little bit of a spin out there. Anthony Merritt in the inside. He manages to get on the track, unfortunately hits the barricade. He's now at risk of hitting the oncoming drivers. He needs to keep outside and stay there, not to be a factor, and looks all well as he's back into the race. Taking a look back in the first position, Anthony Stadler doing well, keeps him cool and calm. Dennis Klutz is second, and Tim Close now in the 3rd position, as Martin Meintjes has now dropped to the 4th position after that small encounter from the back of the pack. Be looking good now as the drivers go into the 13th lap of this race, and every little mistake now can be costly. As we know, Martin Meintjes unfortunately drops now to the 7th position after that short collision there. I'm not sure if everything's fine. He's a little bit rattled. Now he's back onto the track, and that will put a nice dent in the proceedings, as he is now in number 8. That means Rudy Graham shoots past, and he is in 4th position, and the pole position is dramatically changing from the back. Tim Close still in 3rd, and now the only threat will be Rudy Graham, who's in the 4th position. Martin Meintjes, unfortunate yet again. The boogeyman is out to get him, it would seem, as he now is at the last end of the pack and not doing well at all. You'll think he's been cheated, and unfortunately that is the case this evening. But still going strong here in the front. Dennis Klutz going into that 18th lap, as I've been informed Steve is out of the race. He'll not be continuing any further. Dennis Klutz now still in 2nd, as Tim Close shoots into that 3rd position, stays there as no one at his heels as of yet. The drivers go into the 19th lap, almost about halfway there, as this last race is almost at an end, but still a lot of action, still a lot can go good and can go bad, as we've seen, and every lap now, of course, very crucial, as there's 15 laps remaining in this final race. Arno Stadler still in 1st position, Dennis Klutz is 2nd. He has some competition there. He knows that he just needs to keep in his lane. And then we go looking at Rudy Graham. luck for Rudy Graham, as he is in the 4th position now, and he will have to keep there and stay in the 4th position to make a good overall log appearance. Hernus Basson now at the back of the number 6 position, as Leyland manages to shoot past Rudy Graham now, and this will be another interesting battle, as he needs to go past him to get into the 4th position and stay in a competitiveness, but that will also be very, very dependent on him, as the drivers have little to no margin for error. Arno Stadler 1st position, Dennis Klutz still going strong here, and at the back Tim Close now. He is also still in this race, far from out. He's still doing exceptionally well. So the battle on our hands is definitely between 4th and 5th, as the drivers now need to compete for that position. Martin Meintjes at the back at number 7th. He just almost takes past Hernus Basson to claim the 6th position, and he does. Beautiful inside line there, and he keeps a good turn and just nearly keeps inside the track. Then, of course, if we take a look at the back, we can also see that Dennis Klutz just keeps on going strong in the 2nd position as he goes past him, and then Tim Close, nothing to be bothered, still keeping good in the 3rd position. 28 laps are almost done and accounted for, and the last few laps remaining now crucial, and they know they won't have to make any more mistakes, because now this is where it gets interesting. If we take a look at the back of the pack, Toby Engelbrecht doing well to keep outside, Anthony Merritt still in 9th, and we can see the battle between Martin Meintjes, as he just needs to shoot past Dennis Klutz, who is still in the 2nd position, and he'll take some confidence that he's doing well all evening, doing pretty well, I would say. 4 laps remaining, and this is the crucialest part of it, because now anything can go wrong, and if there will be a few spectacular takeovers, we can't wait to see them. Now going to the number 8, and Hernus Basson is now in number 8 as he has been unfortunately dropped. He's out of the race, 2 laps to go, and we can see Dennis Knutzer still doing good in second. Tim Close now in third, remaining third, and the battle between 4th and 5th is definitely secured, as Rudy Graham will look to finish in the 5th position, going good and doing strong as the last lap beckons for this final race. Taking a look at Arne Stadler once again, he's definitely the man of the race, man of the hour as well, as the last lap almost comes to an end. Dennis Knutzer going to finish in the 2nd position. Tim Close will be 3rd, and the checker flag is raised, and there we have it with a time of 7 minutes 21 seconds. Arne Stadler, what a beauty, finishes in 1st position overall as well. Dennis Knutzer in 2nd place with 7 minutes 22 seconds, and that will be the end of the race. It was an exciting race near the end. Not a good start for the drivers. The 2nd heat was much better, and unfortunately for Martin Meintjes, going into the number 6 position at the end of the race, but he started well, and then that little bit of a mishap in the middle of the race, which was costly. Hopefully the boogeyman will stay well away from him as we end this race this evening. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next week with the 3rd round of the SA Nationals. I'm Shalavenga. See you next week.